Hey everybody, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So we are going to be asking the Lead Team Collective your questions about what happens when we transition, meaning what happens when we leave our bodies permanently on Earth and we go wherever we go to. Okay. So I really think of it more as a transition because my belief now, after all the conversations we've had with the lead team and all of our book reading that we've done in the Spirit Circle, it really feels right to me. Now, it may not feel right to other people, because in case there's atheists here, which is fine, I don't know. But I do believe that we just transition because we're just here on Earth on vacation. That's kind of how I see it at this point, that we will go home to wherever that home is and to our true selves. And we're just here on vacation, so make the best of it, right? So you guys asked a bunch of questions, which we always collect, and sometimes there's one-offs. And then sometimes, and so when we get these one-off questions throughout all the videos, we group them. So Jared and Lob and my sister, both my nephews and my sister, will group them together and save them until we have enough to cover one topic. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is what happens after we transition. So many of you asked what life in the spirit world is like. So you want, those are the questions that you have, that it's pertaining to that. Whether we remain connected to our loved ones, how reincarnation fits into the journey, and what continues after physical death. Okay, so that's just a general themes of what the questions fall into. Okay, so before I say the prayer real quick, I just want to mention, I'm so excited. We have got a new level of the Spirit Circle. It's the 3rd level. It's called the Playground. And I just wanted to fill you in real quick on what this is. I'm going to do a separate video, so you might hear this again, something similar. But I just wanted to let people know that it is officially open today. And right now, the 3rd level, if you're in the practice and you want to go to the playground, then you will have to adjust that on your end. Okay. And we are starting, so today is July 26, 2026. On August 17th, we are bumping our prices up. Okay. YouTube is also doing it for other countries. And so we're doing it at the same time that YouTube is doing it. And we're going so we wanted to get this new level in before we bump up so our founding members can have the current price. Okay, so if you decide to stay in the path at $199, when we bump the prices up, you will stay at $199. So you will never pay more unless you canceled and then wanted to come back. Okay. And if you want to stay in the practice, it's $499, and that will always be the case for you. But what we're doing is bump, and so if you join now, the playground, it's $799. We are bumping it to $11.99 in August. So people starting August 17th will pay $11.99. But if you get in now, between now and then, it'll be $7.99 permanently for you. That will not change. Okay, so the playground is an area that I have been wanting to create for, I don't know, let's just say the channel has been, we're just shy of 2 years. This November will be 2 years. And I have been wanting to create this level for, I would say, for like the last 6 months or so. And it's probably when I stopped talking so much about current events. I mean, we asked the lead team your questions about that, but we used to, if you're new here, we used to have Coffee with Karen, and I've done it a little bit over the last couple months, but it's not the same. It just isn't the same. So I have missed a place where because in the beginning of Ask the Spirit Guides, I used to come on because The algorithm wasn't a thing then. We didn't worry about, we had just much more flexibility and freedom of when we scheduled things. And we just don't have it now. When you grow, you're kind of you're kind of stuck. I was going to say a slave to the algorithm, but you kind of are if you want to reach out and if you want to reach more people. So anyway, so I'm really excited because this is going to be a space for any of you who were with me in the very beginning. I would come on and be like, what the hell? Like, just talk about different things. And it was very from a left, politically leaning place at that time. It's not necessarily going to be that. I mean, I'm going to be sharing how I feel about things, but that doesn't mean you have to agree with that. That's not what this is going to be about. Okay, so we're basically going to have honest conversations about, which means a conversation. It's like, I'm going to present, like, this is what I'm seeing. What are you guys seeing? It will give people a space, a private space, to talk about these things and feel safer to talk about things that you see going on in the world. So I might put out a 3-minute, if I can keep things to 5 minutes, you know me, I'll put out, a 5-minute video about a topic that will give everybody in the community opportunity to share what they're feeling, to explore, to learn from each other. And, most importantly, just, really just kind of look at what's happening in the 3D, and so that we can get 5D clarity on it and not have to be so careful on the public channel that we're going to have people, bots and all that kind of stuff interrupting the conversation. Okay. But ultimately, I do want to look at what has been shaping us our entire lives, our systems. What has been shaping us our entire lives? It could be family, culture, religion, media, politics, advertising, technology, education, all those kind of things. It's just when they come up in current events right now, it will help us to have those conversations. But what has shaped us our whole lives to feel like we are not sovereign human beings? We are acting within these guidelines of a system. We all know we have to. So the question is, what is that done to our own personal sovereignty? And how do we expand our thinking on it? Doesn't mean we're not going to fit within society, but how do we expand our thinking on it? So I'm really excited about this level, and I hope, I'm not looking to have like a huge number of people in there, but whoever wants to join us for that, if there's 5 of us, that'll be fine. If there's a couple hundred, that will be fine too, whatever. But if there's only 5 of us, then we're really going to have some good conversations. So, okay. All right. Thank you for allowing me to tell you a little bit about that, because I'm quite excited. Okay, let's do the prayer real quick, and we'll see what the lead team has to say. The first question is, does talking to someone who has passed affect their present day incarnation? What? We'll have to tease that out a little bit. Very interesting. Okay, I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides and guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, the lead team collective, our community, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team. Thank you so much for being here. I see a bug on the inside. Is he on the inside? Nope, he's not. He's in between our screen and the window. So, okay, I already let a big spider out this morning. I said, you got to go outside where you belong. All right, lead team, we've got questions here regarding what it is like where you're at, basically. See, that's the thing. They're just not physical. They're not in the physical world, but they're here. So that's where we go. That's kind of how I see it. Would you say the same thing, lead team? Yes. Are you picking up on my energy and my biases towards this conversation? No. Okay, good. Just checking. I've asked them to never do that, so that's kind of like a standing boundary or law that we have between us. Okay, expectation guideline, whatever. Okay, yep, they're saying yes. Okay. So, lead team, does talking to someone who has passed, so like if I talk to my mom who has passed, affect their present day incarnation? I think I might have to tease that out because I'm not quite sure I understand that. So they're saying yes. Now, affect, the question affect could be seen in multiple different ways, right? So does talking to someone who has passed affect them positively? Yes. Okay. However, if we're talking to someone who has passed in anger, does that affect them positively? Yes. Because are they in a different place to be able to hear us differently than maybe they were before? Yes. So my mom was a big feeler, and so am I. But I have, especially doing this work, gotten a thicker skin, I could say. And the more spiritual work I do, the more I am not as sensitive. Doesn't mean I'm not, but I'm learning. But my mom was quite sensitive. So, are you saying now, if I were to give my mom feedback about my experience with her, that was maybe something hurtful for me, let's say, that is she in a better place to hear that? Yes. And so that is helpful for her as a soul that has transitioned? Yes. Because it helps continue the growth. Because we're all, that's what we, yeah. So when we transition from our earthly bodies, are we interested? They're already saying no, they know what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, are we done learning? No. Okay. And so when we transition, we just continue our eternal life, basically, of where are we going next? Where are we going next? What are we going to learn next? Where do we want to, all that kind of stuff. Do we want to go back to Earth? Do we want to go to a different planet, a different dimension? Do we have those options? Yes. Okay. Does communicating with someone who has passed help them connect more deeply with their higher self? Oh, wow. Yes. Because is it because of the energy of your continuing the relationship? I guess I'm trying to think of how that connects to the higher self. So it's because it's an energetic thing. We're giving them more energy by focusing on them. Yes, but how would that help them connect more deeply with their higher self? I'm not sure. I feel a little stumped on that. Let me know what you guys think about that. And as always, you can always ask more questions. Be like, Karen, you should have asked it this way, which I appreciate. And you don't have to say you should have asked it this way. You can just say, here's a question. And then, as always, we collect those. So it'll be answered down the road. Okay. Is communicating with someone who has passed generally an expansion and positive experience for them? Okay, so that's what I was getting at earlier. Yes. Yes. Is communicating, I'm just going to reverse it. Is communicating with someone who has passed generally a negative experience for them? No. Is there any time where it is a negative experience for them? No. No. Is that because they've lost, they don't have the human ego? The human ego is really what our challenge here is on Earth. Yes. Okay. If you read Mary Magdalene Revealed, the book, That's basically, in my opinion, what the whole book boiled down to, was Christ's message to Mary Magdalene, the first apostle, the first person he talked to when he transitioned, just like people, can hear spirits now. She heard him. And she really got deeply that basically he just said, basically your time on earth is just to remember, enjoy yourselves, but it's just to remember that you are a spirit and you're just having an egoic or whatever experience, and the challenge is always between those two. It's always between those two, but that's why we come here, to have that physical experience. So that's when they say, remember who you are. That's what the message is from Mary Magdalene. Revealed, it was a really good book. It'll always be, in fact, we're just finishing up. I've got a couple more sessions to do with the practice members. Which, by the way, in the levels, when I told you that, if you join the top tier, you get all the other stuff. You continue to get all the other stuff. So, yeah, you're probably going to get a lot of videos from me, but you don't have to listen to them all. I mean, I'm probably going to be throwing it, there's a very good, it just depends on what's going on in the world. But there's a very good chance you'll be getting a lot of, it's Coffee with Karen, I'll be sitting in my chair with my bedhead, be like, what do you guys think about this? That kind of thing. So, okay. Do we keep our personality after we transition? Great question. No. So you're saying that the Myers-Briggs is, like Myers-Briggs personality type, is that all based on ego? Yes. Never thought of it that way. I'm an instructor for that class, or certified. Never thought of it that way. Interesting. Okay. My nose is really itchy today, you guys. They're playing with me. Are you guys itching my nose today? By chance? Yes. Okay, could you guys stop that? It's not very becoming when I have to itch my nose on camera. Okay. Do our actions on Earth affect our experience after we transition? Yes. Is that because we assuming that we've grown some more? Is that why it affects it? Yes. Even if we're awful, evil person, what people would label evil, even if we're an awful person, will that still positively affect our transition? Like, because we'll be able to look at that? Yes. Does anybody ever transition and go backwards in their evolution once they transition from this experience? No. So even again, if they looked like they were going backwards as a human, maybe that was actually forward for them. Yes, in terms of evolution. Yes. That's interesting. I never really put it that way, but like even an 85-year-old who is spiritually what you might consider not very spiritual person, or not, I mean, maybe they're just like really mean, narcissist, whatever. They may actually be more spiritually evolved than they were before. I never really quite thought of it that way before, because we just see age so much. Yeah, that's interesting. Because that's all this is about, is we're all at different evolutionary stages. So, yeah, so our actions on Earth, they can affect our experience after we transition. Okay, let me just clarify that, because I think someone may have been asking, well, if we're mean, if we've done some really bad, what humans would consider very bad, let's just say very, I felt like I sounded like somebody, but I'm not going to say who. You guys can tell me in the comments. Very bad, very bad. Sorry. Some people can really imitate really well. Not me. So, if we have done things that are harmful for humanity, let's put it that way. So like, right, if somebody is like charged with crime, I'm going to go like the top, like the most worst thing, the worst thing, like crimes against humanity, let's say. Okay. Yes, you're with me. Does that affect their experience in terms of like where they go when they transition? No. So when every single one of humans transition out of their avatar, out of their body, do we all have a similar experience when we first leave our bodies? Yes. And that would be considered like a life review. Yes. And the life review, I've done videos on life reviews before. You can always search in the channel. So if we do a life review and it turns out that, let's just say again, crimes against humanity, will we be directed to go, will that affect our experience of where we go next? See, that really needed to be, yes, so that needed to be teased out a little bit. Are we made to go somewhere that we wouldn't want to go? No. So basically, does hell exist? No. Does hell exist in the traditional sense that humans think it does? No. Okay. Can you feel like you're in hell if that's what you believe? Yes. So when we transition, do we, at least initially, do we experience what we believe we might experience? Yes. So if we believe that we'll end up at the pearly gates and that we won't be let in unless, we've been good or whatever, will we experience that initially? Might be, yes. Is that because we are manifestors? We all manifest what we, yes. So right now, if I wanted to ensure I had a particular experience, could I change that experience right now by sending energy towards that experience? Like when I transition, I'm going to see Mary Magdalene's going to be waiting for me, whatever. Yes. I mean, I absolutely expect my mom in this lifetime to be waiting for me. Yes. Okay. So, okay. If somebody believes in hell and they actually believe they're going there because they've been awful, but they couldn't change it while they were here in this lifetime, will they experience will they experience some level of hell? Yes. Is that a permanent experience? No. Okay. So that might be their transition period, and then does it shift after that? After then they're like, okay. Yes. But there are souls who get stuck because they don't believe they're dead or something like that, right? Yes. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to get stuck. Because I've heard that people like they don't even realize they're dead, that their body has expired and that their soul needs to go. Is that true? Yes. So could that happen to any of us? No. Okay, is that experience, sorry, I'm off on my own little tangent of questions right now. Is that experience because that's what somebody put in their life plan that they would experience that? Ah, okay. Okay. So they're really not stuck. No. Okay. So it's part of the journey that they've planned to have, part of the experience they plan to have. Oh, phew. All right. Okay. Let's see. Do we still need to take responsibility in the spirit world for harmful actions that were a part of our soul contract? Yes. The chances are we're likely more willing to take responsibility for it. Yes. Is there a time where people don't take responsibility, like spirits don't take responsibility? No. Unless they're still ego attached, I'm assuming. Yes. So is that what happens? Is spirits who kind of who don't transition the normal, quote unquote, normal way, is because they're still connected to ego, their ego energy? Yes. Okay. Huh. Interesting. When we think about someone who has passed, are they sometimes aware of us? Yes. Are they always aware of us when we think of them? Yes. Can they choose to not be aware when we think of them? No. They can't? Okay. Which is why we have done, actually, you guys, we have done a session with Hitler, actually, which was fascinating. So fascinating. His higher self continues to take on all that dark energy sent towards him. And he has to experience that. Is that correct? Yes. Is that energy starting to shift because we see similar behavior? Not exact, obviously, yet. But we are seeing some similar behavior, whether you want to see that or not. This is the kind of stuff we're going to talk about Coffee with Karen. Well, okay, let me clarify. I'm going to say, am I seeing similar behavior than what I learned this was like in Germany and blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to have a conversation about it. So, or I might say, I'm seeing similar behavior, and somebody might say, I'm not, and this is why I'm seeing it differently. And I'm going to be like, oh, damn, yeah, I hadn't seen it that way before. That's what we're going to be doing in the playground. That's why I'm calling it the playground. Because we get to play. We get to play. Judgment-free, conflict-free, anybody causing problems in there, well, that's not what we're doing. We're just exploring. We're playing around with ideas. So, okay. Can you tell I'm a little excited about it? It's just going to be so nice to have that freedom again that I had when I first started this channel. And I don't have to worry about when it's published and what it looks like, the thumbnail looks like, and all that stuff. The time it goes out, all that kind of stuff, So, and again, you just get to pick and choose what you want to listen to. Okay. And you might just go in and read comments. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't even listen to videos. I just go in and, like, you'll see somebody say, is anyone just here for the comments? I'm like, yes. Because you learn that way, So, where are we? Yeah, so when we think of someone who has passed, they're always aware of us. That's very cool. Are people who have passed present at their own funeral or celebration of life? Yes and no. Okay, so is that a choice that they can be present? Yes. But since they will always sense us thinking about them, even during the funeral or celebration of life, they can still hear us or sense that we're talking about them, even if they're not like looking on. Yes. Okay. So they can sense us and feel the energy of what's happening without physically well, they're not physical, but looking, not without their spirit actually being in the room, let's just say. They can do that? Yes. Okay. Will we meet the souls of children who were miscarried once we transition? Oh, heartbreaking. As a human, very heartbreaking. Yes, 100%. Will they be a part of that soul family that greets us? Yes. Yeah, because they designed that experience with you. They're like, I just want to experience what it's like to be in the womb for a little while. Maybe they need a little break, It's just so hard for us because we have forgotten that we are transitory that way, and their spirits coming and going and coming and going, just like we do. We have forgotten that. I just got major chills. That's why it's so painful. So, and that I think is what Christ was trying to say. You guys are way bigger than what you're giving yourselves credit for, here. But I don't care what anyone says, because I got major chills. My head's like a major chill now. But you guys know what I mean. I don't care what anybody says. I still don't get to hang out with my mom and do art like I used to. We used to do scrapbooking together or painting and all that kind of stuff. It's not the same. I don't care what anybody says. From a physical standpoint, it's not the same. I do know that she's right here. She was probably the one giving me the tingles, but it's not the same. She could probably do art with me, because if I'm sitting there doing art, she's probably doing it on her end. Yeah, well, I don't get to see her, so. Right? Or if I've miscarried a child, I don't get the pleasure of raising that child. So, all right, being obnoxious now, but from a human standpoint, they can tell us whatever they want. It still freaking hurts, right? Okay, is there romantic love in the spirit world? What? No. Is that one of the reasons why spirits love coming to Earth, to experience that? Yes. Is there really a long wait list for spirits to come to Earth? Yes. Okay. So it's an honor to actually be here. Yes. Very cool. Is there physical intimacy in the spirit world? No. So for same reasons? Yes. After we transition, do we spend time reminiscing with those who share our earthly life? Yes. Very cool. Even beyond the life review? Yes. I'm looking forward to it. Well, because we just get to hang again, right? Like, we get to hang. Yes. Okay. I was just thinking, well, what if my mom's off having a different experience? She could probably split herself, is my guess. She can be, energy. Okay. Wild. Do we apologize to people we hurt after we transition? No. No. Do we have much more perspective and recognize that there was learning involved? It doesn't mean that we have to feel good about hurting them, but that there was learning involved? Yes. Yes. Do you guys ever find yourself, I've done this a couple times. I don't know why, it's weird. It's probably weird. You're probably going to say it's weird. But I have found myself going, oh, and this is Okay. I mean, people who are older. I'll just say my biological dad. Like we are on probably a permanent hiatus from each other, and he's 85. So it's a long story. If you've been around, you know. And so, but like I have found myself saying, you know what, when he transitions, he'll understand, and I'm okay. I'm good with that. Like I know that he'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Like where I went wrong, where he went wrong, where I was not wrong, where he was not wrong, right? I mean, I know he'll get it, and yeah, I'll be at quite a lot of peace actually when that happens, because I'll be able to say, "Oh, okay, Dad, now we can get back to having a relationship," because now I know you get it. It doesn't have to be so complicated. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I have had that thought, like, oh, you'll understand when you transition, and so will I. I'll understand it differently too, from his perspective, And not everything. I don't believe everything has to be resolved in this lifetime. Does everything have to be resolved in this lifetime? Okay, I was like, are you guys saying yes? No. Okay, they're saying no. Okay. If it doesn't get resolved in this lifetime, like, will Jerry and I have to continue this type of, until we get it resolved, this type of experience? No. And I'm just confirming, because we've had many conversations about this, is that because karma cycling is going to be completed? Like, we don't need to karma cycle anymore? Yes. Okay. Great. Two more questions. Do we appear in the spirit world with the same physical appearance we had on Earth? No. Nope. Can we appear in the spirit world with the same physical appearance? Yes. So we can choose to do that? Yes. Do people living in the 5D still transition into the spirit world? Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm a little hyper about this new book also that we're reading. Book club is in the okay, so thank you. Those are the questions. Thank you. Those are amazing questions. This is a great conversation. I learn stuff every single time. So the book that I'm obsessed with, even if you're not in the practice, I'd highly recommend that you look at it and see if you want to get it. Daniel Scratton. It's one of Daniel Scratton's. It's actually not his book. He did channel through it. But now I feel bad because I don't have it here and I don't know who the author is. I think it's Allison something, but, they explain, so it's channeling with Quinn. I'll link the book below. They channel with Kuan Yin, Ascended Master Kuan Yin. And you guys know I've been talking about this. And they explain the 5D so better than I have heard it explained in 2 years. Like, I have read a lot about the 3D and the 5D. I've asked a lot of questions to these guys. I still think this is explained. And maybe it's, you always have to be open to the idea that that may not be accurate, but it's explained in a way that makes so much more sense to me. So if you are not in the spirit circle, grab the book. Again, I'll link it below so you know which one I'm talking about. But if you are in the spirit circle, I'm super excited. It's at the second level is where we have book club in the practice. So you don't have to go to the third level. You don't have to hear me, have the deeper conversations. But the book club is at the practice level. So I'm super excited to really explore this book. So anyways, very, very helpful with 3D, 5D stuff. Okay, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Let us know if you have any questions. If you enjoy this content, it would be amazing if you gave it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. You know how that goes. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We'd appreciate it. All right, take care. Bye-bye.